to ask the question, or do you just want to go ahead and give us the Zach Thomas update?
Yeah. Well, Zach's good to go. He practiced well today and very sharp. Looked like he had a little bit more zip on the ball, I think, after having a little bit of time off. But, he was anxious to get back out and, excited to have him back. Houston did a good job in getting his, first win as a starter. And, we're excited to get Zach back out on the field. And, we're pretty healthy at this point of the season, really, and should have everybody available for this week.
So you kind of use the week to kind of stress to him maybe protecting himself a little bit more.
Well, I talked about that last week. There's certain ways you got to get down, and we want to be aggressive in the run. I don't care what position it is, and we've always have been. But at some point, I got to get what I can get and then get down. And we're going to talk about that, work on that. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to take his aggressive away. But he does have to be smart in the way he runs the football. But it is a weapon for our offense.
How long does it take a quarterback to get comfortable to do that? I'm sure it varies, but
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a feel thing. I think you think back to Taylor Lamb. He ran for 4 years and stayed pretty healthy throughout his tenure. But there were times, here comes a big linebacker. I got to get down and just get what I can get and get down. In that certain circumstance at Georgia Southern, it was 3rd and long. You're only getting about 6 yards. And here comes a couple of guys. Just get down. And that's something that he'll learn over time, just with his experience, I think.
In terms of the rest of the offense, what are the priorities this week? Withers runs a pretty familiar defense down there for you guys. He's got a 3-front technique. They really did a nice job in their game against Georgia Southern earlier this year, stopping the run. What are they doing defensively, and then how do you guys need to attack it offensively?
Well, I think they've done an excellent job defensively. They're fitting their gaps like you want. They're stopping the run game. They're creating turnovers. They're playing a really good ball on that side of the ball, and we got to do a good job of finding ways to run the football against them. I know they're going to stack the box. I know we got to play physical against those guys. I remember last year it was a tough, going against their defense last year. We know we got to be able to hit some balls down the field, and we didn't do a great job of that the last couple of games, down in the passing games. We got to be able to do some of that, but we still want to establish the run and get our running backs going. And I think it's just all about picking and choosing, when to attack down the field and then when to run the football. And I think we just got to do a good job mixing it up.
As you mentioned, not being able to get downfield as well as you have been. What are some of the things that are contributing to that?
Well, I think the first 4 or 5 games of the season, we had 0 drops, and then I think Arkansas State we had about 4 or 5 drops, and then from that point on we've either missed throws, dropped the football, and not been able to sustain drives. When you're sustaining drives, and you're getting at least 3 more opportunities to go to run some plays, and maybe that's some of that's throwing the ball down the field. So we got to do a better job just throwing and catching, and it just comes back to fundamentals, and we're working hard at it. And I got to do a better job of getting us in plays that our guys can have success in, and I think that's some of the things we're working on this week, and hopefully we'll be able to do that.
And that said, though, defenses are probably doing some different things against you too.
What's that?
Defenses are doing some different things against you too. What have you seen defenses doing to adjust to? You guys had a lot of success first 3 games.
Yeah, I think
getting people down the field.
I think some of the things they're doing is getting in our face, pressing us. And some guys having a hard time getting off of that. Mixing up coverages, and I think too, we've played 2 games now with our backup quarterbacks and guys who haven't played a lot of football, so they're seeing some different things and maybe throwing it in places they shouldn't throw the ball into. And I think Zach's getting him back this week should help that. And and then we got to just find ways to get the ball in the hands of some playmakers. I think Corey, what do you have? 1 catch last week and he scored. So we got to do a better job of getting the ball in the hands of some guys that can make plays down the field.
I think you guys rotate a ton of guys on the D line. We talk about that often, but just the significance of Chris Willis getting his first start. I guess what kind of goes into making that decision and getting a guy that first start and letting him take over that spot?
Well, I think he's just deserved it for that. He's made plays. And I think Coach Ivey's done a good job of marking practices and seeing who's ready to go, who's had the best weeks. He had a couple of good weeks in a row, so he got to start. And I think it just fuels competition, and those guys compete. And when they're on the field, they want to make plays. And like you mentioned, that we rotate a lot of guys anyway up front, and we want to continue to do that. And it's just a matter of who's going out there first. And then I think in the game, whoever's got the hot hand, who's making the plays, they'll be the ones that end up staying in the game with the D-lines.
Coach, your defense came up huge, actually shut out Coastal, had a big safety there that kind of gave you guys some energy in that second half. What's your thoughts on the defense?
Yeah, they played outstanding. I thought offensively, I felt like we stayed on their end of the field the whole game, and for whatever reason, we were not scoring many points. And but the defense did a great job with that. Our punting, our kicking game, particularly in punting, down the ball inside the 2-yard line was huge. But our defense probably the best performance we had all year. They fit very well. Tackled well. It was just a great performance. And we got a lot of respect for their offense at Coastal, so I thought it just played outstanding. And then offensively, it just enabled us just to continue to grind it out and run the football, and therefore we controlled the game. We had close to 36 minutes of time possession.